Picture this. You are sitting at your kitchen table on a random Tuesday evening, scrolling through your banking app on your phone. You see your checking account balance, and for a split second, you feel a small wave of relief because you actually have some money left over before payday. You feel responsible. You tell yourself that you are finally getting your act together. But then, you look closer at your savings account and you realize it has barely budged in 6 months. You are earning a steady income. You are trying to cut back on the unnecessary takeout, and yet your net worth feels completely stuck in neutral. That is when the sinking feeling hits you. You start wondering if you are wasting your best earning years by saving money the wrong way, or worse, not saving it fast enough to ever catch up. It is completely normal to feel that way. Nobody teaches you how to handle money like this in school. You are trying to balance living your life today with securing your future tomorrow, and those two goals constantly fight each other. But what if the problem is not your willpower? What if the problem is that you are trying to save too much too fast, which causes you to burn out and quit every single time? In this video, we are going to break down exactly how to use the $50 rule to build a full year of savings without feeling deprived, and exactly what happens to your money when you stick to it for 12 straight months. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about personal finance and everyday money habits. If you are someone who earns a decent living but still feels like your savings account is trapped in slow motion, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. Here's the thing. We have all been lied to about how we are supposed to save money. Financial advice online always tells you to drastically cut out all joy, live like a monk, and save 50% of your income starting tomorrow. So you try it. You delete your favorite apps, you stop seeing your friends, and you miserable your way through 3 weeks of financial starvation. Then you crack. You order an expensive dinner out, you feel like a complete failure, and you give up on saving entirely for the next 6 months. It is an exhausting cycle, not because you lack discipline, because the traditional advice completely ignores human psychology. Real wealth building is not about radical deprivation. It is about tiny, repeatable systems that you can actually maintain when you are tired, stressed, and busy living a normal life. This is where it gets really interesting. Let us actually look at the numbers. Let us compare two different approaches to building up a financial cushion over the course of 1 full year. Person A tries the aggressive approach. They decide they are going to save $500 every single month. They start strong in January, but by March, an unexpected car repair pops up, life happens, and they end up saving $0 for the rest of the year. Their total savings after 12 months sits at $1,500, and they feel completely defeated. Now let us look at person B, who decides to use the steady $50 rule. They put aside $50 every single week into a separate high-yield savings account. It feels small. It feels almost too easy. They barely even notice the money leaving their checking account. But because $50 a week feels painless, they never stop. Week after week, month after month, the habit runs quietly in the background of their life. At the end of month 1, they have $200 saved. By month 6, they have $1,200. And by the end of 12 full months, Person B looks at their account and sees $2,600 sitting safely in the bank. Person B saved nearly double the amount of Person A, not because they earned more money, and not because they possessed superhuman willpower, but because they chose consistency over intensity. Here is what most people don't realize about how our brains process money. Our brains treat large financial goals like a physical threat. When you tell yourself you need to save $10,000 this year, your brain panics because that number feels massive and entirely out of reach. It triggers a stress response that actually makes you want to avoid looking at your finances altogether. But when you break that same goal down into a micro habit, like tucking away $50 a week, Your brain registers it as completely safe and manageable. You stop viewing saving as a painful sacrifice and start viewing it as a normal part of your weekly routine. It becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth or filling up your gas tank. To make this work for your own life, you need a clear, actionable framework. Let us call this the steady cushion system. Here are the 4 steps to setting it up. Step 1 is the automatic split. You cannot rely on your memory or your motivation to transfer $50 every week because you will eventually forget or talk yourself out of it. The moment your paycheck hits your account, set up an automatic transfer of $50 to move straight into a separate savings account that is hard to access for everyday spending. Out of sight means out of mind, and automation takes your willpower completely out of the equation. Step 2 is the baseline audit. Before you lock in your weekly $50, take 10 minutes to look at your last month of bank statements. You are not looking to shame yourself or cut out your morning coffee. You are simply finding one mindless expense that you will not even miss. Maybe it is a subscription service you forgot you were paying for, or mindless delivery fees on food you could have easily picked up. Reallocate that exact amount to fuel your weekly savings transfer. Step 3 is the visual tracker. Human beings are wired to respond to visible progress. If your savings just sit in a digital bank account where you never look at them, your brain gets no reward for the sacrifice. Print out a simple tracker or use a habit app on your phone where you can check off every single week you successfully hit your $50 goal. Watching those check marks pile up creates a powerful psychological dopamine hit that keeps you motivated to protect your streak. Step 4 is the zero guilt rule. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. There might be a month where an emergency happens and you cannot manage the full $50. If that happens, don't throw your hands up and quit. Save $20 instead, or pause for 2 weeks and then pick right back up. The goal is long-term consistency, not perfection. A broken streak is just a bump in the road, not the end of the journey. Think about how this plays out in the real world. Imagine a friend of yours named Sarah. Sarah used to live in a constant state of financial anxiety. Every time an unexpected expense hit, like a dentist bill or a broken laptop, she had to put it on a credit card because her checking account was always sitting dangerously close to zero. She felt like she was running on a treadmill that kept speeding up. Last year, Sarah decided to stop trying to save massive lumps of cash and committed strictly to the $50 weekly system. She didn't change her career. She didn't move into a cheaper apartment. She just automated that $50 every Monday morning. By the time her car battery died unexpectedly 10 months later, Sarah didn't panic. She didn't swipe a high-interest credit card. She simply logged into her savings account, pulled out the cash she needed, and paid for it in full. For the first time in her adult life, she felt a profound sense of control. That is what this system actually buys you. It buys you peace of mind. Now you might be thinking, $50 a week sounds nice. But inflation is so high right now that $50 barely buys groceries, let alone builds real wealth. And honestly, that is a completely fair point. If you are struggling just to pay for basic necessities, saving any amount feels impossible. But here is the perspective shift you need. The $50 rule is not about making you a millionaire overnight. It is about building the muscle of saving when you are at a stage where large amounts feel out of reach. Once you prove to yourself that you can successfully save $50 a week for an entire year without ruining your life, scaling that number up to $75 or $100 a week becomes infinitely easier because the habit is already hardwired into your daily routine. You are building the foundation first. Let us quickly recap the 4 steps of the steady cushion system so you can put this into practice starting this week. First, set up an automatic transfer so the $50 moves on its own the second you get paid. Second, do a quick baseline audit to find one mindless expense to fund your new habit. Third, use a visual tracker to reward your brain and keep your momentum alive. Fourth, adopt the zero guilt rule so minor setbacks never derail your long-term progress. Saving money does not have to be a miserable punishment that makes you dread checking your bank account. You do not need to wait until you magically start making six figures to finally feel secure. You just need a small, boring, reliable system that quietly works in the background while you live your life. And I am curious about something. What is the one financial goal you want to achieve most over the next 12 months? Let me know in the comments.